Morning, folks. Lindsay Hudson with SPS back in the building. That's right. Back in the building. A couple crutches with me, too. You know, footrest. That's right. Working my way back. Happy Monday to you. Happy Monday motivation. I'm motivated. Hope you could be motivated, too. Got a lot of perspective. What's going on with life, what's going on with me, what's going on with everybody else. Wait a few moments before we get going, but you can always rewind the tape. Maybe you was up late watching the Oscars. I wasn't up late. I was off night. We'll go ahead and get started with today's Monday motivation. Graveyard voices. That's right, graveyard voices. Lindsay, what are you talking about? Sounds morbid. I know it sounds morbid, but it's not really that bad, but I think it's important. You know, as you all know, and I thank you for all the well wishes, some 431 people sending likes on social media, phone calls, text messages. Surgery was a success, even to the point that even right now, for the first time, I stopped taking my painkillers on schedule. We'll see how that goes, meaning I'm trying to transition out of the potential, opioid crisis. That's real. And these things can be very addictive, hurtful in the long run. You go in for surgery and come out addicted to, a pain medication that can really change the trajectory of your life. But I'm very fortunate. I'm feeling very clear-headed. I'm not reaching for the bottle like I need it, But with that being said, graveyard voices. Years ago, I remember I was struggling with the issue. And if you're familiar with the Lansing area, me leaving Detroit years ago and being in Lansing, Mount Hope Street was the street I actually lived off of when I was married. And there's a cemetery between there going on. What's up, brother? Randall, my fam right here. Morning to you, brother. There's a cemetery on Mount Hope Street, and it's actually called Mount Hope Cemetery. I remember, Rand, I was struggling, Reggie, with some issues, trying to figure out how I was going to make a decision. And I'm pretty sure it had something to do with the early growth of SPS, but what I was challenged with was dealing with like a social norm, and what's a social norm, folks? Social norms are defined as the unwritten rules of behavior that are considered acceptable in a group or society. Norms function to provide order or predictability in society. Now, don't get me wrong. I wasn't struggling with whether I should run a red light or not. No, it wasn't like that. It was like, should I make a move on something? And it really had a lot to do with how what I was going to do was going to be perceived. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning to you. Always great to see you on these Monday motivations. You and Reggie as well, young Randall. So anyway, I remember passing Mount Hope, the actual cemetery that you see right here. That's the actual visual for the cemetery. I remember passing it. And when I got there, I thought about my late brother, Sean Huddleston, who had passed already. He had passed away. And I thought about the people who were, memorialized in that cemetery. And I thought about it, Michelle, and I was like, what would the people in the cemetery say? And I had my answer. They would clearly say, man, go do it. See, the people that are in the cemetery aren't confined to the social norms of the way things are because they have a different perspective because their life is transitioning. So many times we become wardens and we confine ourselves to these barless and wallless prisons, Michelle, called social norms. Know this term right here? This is how we always do it, those prisons. They don't do it like that, prisons. You know what I'm talking about? We get confined to those, and what I want to talk to you guys about today is listen to those graveyard voices. Those voices from the grave that will say, man, don't get caught up in that help free us from those social norm prisons. And every time I would do that, whether I thought about my brother who passed away or someone who may be in there, it gave me the courage. Thank you, brother. Rand said facts. My man said facts. You don't play with it. It gave me the courage to move forward. Got a call from my guy, Nez, yesterday. Nez Richardson. That's my guy since way back. And we were having some deep conversations, as we always do, and about this topic, social norms, and about how particularly African Americans get caught up in these social norms of things that we worry about being cool, or we don't want to violate our social norms, these unwritten rules. When to be honest, things can be life or death. And you really want to talk about life or death? I got this information yesterday Shout out to D, Delonda Little. I was watching her page, man, and I looked up and I saw this image. It said, funeral arrangements for Brenda Henry. Prayers for her family and all those lives she impacted. Brenda Henry was affiliated with BCAM, Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan, was affiliated with refereeing. We had just formally met 2 weeks ago at the basketball championship. She literally was sitting in front of me, and we were talking, her and another brother and I, we were all talking about supporting girls basketball. She tested positive for COVID after that weekend and just recently took a turn for the worse and transition. I was just with her. Now, for those who may be concerned, when I had my pre-surgery, I took a COVID test and I tested negative. And I haven't posted this, but I'm double vaccinated. So there's no health concern in that regard. But my point being is I was just with her. And so what would the voices from the grave say about some of the things that we do or we're not doing? Decisions we're making or not making because of that. Just read a post. One of the greatest prisons is being concerned about what others think. Thank you, Michelle. I needed that right on time. One of the greatest prisons is being concerned about what others think. This is right on time. We get so concerned about what other people think that it affects our movement. And what do you say? She was a wonderful person. I know. I met her and we were just, chopping it up, full of life. And she's transitioned, man. So for those who still want to be, as somebody say, medical professionals with no MD behind your name, this COVID is real, man. It is still taking lives. This is not about me right now. But I was in that space. I was communicating with her. We were talking eye to eye, shoulder to shoulder, squared up, communicating. Not a care in the world. And went on about our day. But unfortunately, things happened differently in our life. Her body responded to something different, and she's gone. So these social norms that we don't respond to the right way can literally be life or death, folks. I just want to encourage people on this day, man, because like I said, when I started this idea, it was about me struggling with things that could help better myself, better my future. But I was caught up in those prisons that Michelle referenced and I referenced earlier, these social norms that we get caught up in. I'm reminded of something Theodore Roosevelt said, and I'll read this to you. Think about this, folks, when it comes down to worrying about what other people say. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man or woman who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again. Because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself or herself worthy in worthy causes, and who at best knows at the end the triumph of high achievement, who at worst, if he or she fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his or her place will never be in those cold and timid souls who never know victory or defeat. By daring greatly, we let these social norms stop us from having the courage to dare and achieve things. You can have the greatest idea, and just like that, some sucker sitting next to you can say something negative and you shut it down. You give somebody with no kind of experience, they haven't done anything, they got nothing to show for it, they sitting right next to your butt. As soon as you say something, they give you a reason why it can't work. And you get them all the credit in the world and say, yeah, you're right, it won't. Instead of pursuing your dream or idea. I'm telling you this right now. When I was in that hospital room, more importantly, when I was getting ready to go under, I remember looking up saying, I don't have to come out on the other side. It's not that I didn't want to, but things can happen. I didn't have to come out on the other side. So it made me say, man, what is life all about? Thank you, Michelle. What is life all about? Purpose-driven life. I got another book up there. Shout out to my guy, Rod Murphy. I'm checking out his book, but I'm on that purpose-driven life. Shout out to my guy, Coach Mel Tucker. He said, check out that purpose-driven life. They had their spring weekend. But my point being is that the opening chapter says it's not all about me. So I'm not here post-surgery to think about how much I can benefit. I'm thinking about how I can better serve others. And part of that is sharing a message that can free you guys from these prisons that we're involved in. So I won't go on and on today. I think the message has been made. To Ms. Brenda Henry, may you rest in peace. It was a pleasure, and I'm glad that in that brief moment I had exchange with you, it was a positive exchange. And I say your name honoring you today. My guy TJ Theophilus Henry is out here, no connection. He lost his dad, and I know he loves his dad. I know he's struggling with that, but I'm saying, TJ, honor your dad by just, thinking of him every day and doing things he would be proud of. He was just as proud to name you after him and say his name with such pride. So I know we all may have something that we could be struggling with, but I just ask that you do your best to free yourself from those wallless and barless prisons of these social norms and not be caught up in what he said or she said. Shout out to Dennis Reed. He said, she said, plays. Look at Dennis. Dennis is, what if Dennis would have said, okay, you're right, I can't make no plays or make no movies. Detroit is not a destination for that. What if Dennis would have agreed with that? He wouldn't be doing the things he's doing. I'm looking at everybody on my timeline. Michelle, what if you said, I can't start a track club? Yeah, my daughter is successful in track, but I can't start New Breed Track Club. Look at the lives you're impacting like that. Rand, your love for Adidas footwear. What if you said, man, I'm not going to be no Adidas guy, no Nike town. Look at the love. My point being, folks, is just you go on and you live your life. And you don't let those social norms put you in a prison. Because the world needs your ideas if they're about the benefit of others. The world needs your thoughts and your plans if they're about the benefit of others. So with that, I may not be hooping and hollering, but I'm feeling good. I'm feeling positive. It's been a good day. It's going to be a great day. What you say, brother? Take flight in life and live. That's right. Well, my boy Joey. What up, baby? Glad to see you back doing what you do. Continue to recover completely and quickly. Bro, I will, Joey. I got nothing but love for Joey. We used to get it in out there. Me, you, Nez, out there at the Wayne County Juvenile Detention Facility. Some good runs, man. I just think about those runs. We won't get them runs back, but I just think about how much fun we had, the brotherhood and the fellowship. And my brother, I remember we sat down and chopped it up. And you not being confined to the walls of a wallless prison and reach out to me with some concerns you had. We had a great exchange. I never forget that day either, brother. So I want y'all to just stay healthy out here, and if something hits you that challenges your health, stay mentally strong to be able to get through it and find something beautiful in the struggle, because life is just that, a beautiful struggle. So with that, you guys have a great day. Have a great week. Have a great month. Have a great year. Have a great life. And we sign off with my man Joey talking about facts. All right, peace. SPS out.